I'm not going to critique a brand rebrands, like what we love about it, what we hate about it. We absolutely did it for Cracker Barrel. I can't do it anymore because I think it's all a lie.
Well, okay,
Like,
that's a hot take.
old Christina would have been like, okay, you got a new CMO. They need something that feels very impactful very
Hmm.
quickly. So you're going to do a rebrand. And that was absolutely true. But I would argue now in this attention economy, where especially with rage bait and what we saw
Hmm.
with like American Eagle and the Sydney Sweeney thing, and then we saw Elf and like the partnership they did with Matt Rife, like I
Hmm.
think we like, and I've seen the podcasts and the interviews with these CMOs being like, oh, it's okay. It was worth the risk. And I was like, it wasn't a risk
Yeah.
because you got what you wanted. Like, I think that we need to think that just because we think it's a bad idea, if all they wanted was attention, then they
Hmm.
don't see it as a risk. You can
Right.
call it whatever you want, but they wanted press. And so I think that brands understand that if they rebrand, no matter how bad it is, actually the worse it is, the more likely they are guaranteed earned media and conversation. And if your brand is not doing well and it's being forgotten and it's stagnant,
Hmm.
then they'd rather be hated and talked about than forgotten. And so the more I see this now, I don't see it as, oh, you have a new CMO and you're trying to do something like cool. I don't think that's what it like Domino's did it and I was like, we don't no, it was Domino, it was Pizza Hut. Actually, I think they both did. Like we don't need this. Like and I want to go up to him and be like, Pizza Hut, we just want you like Reading Rainbow's backed. Do the book it thing and partner
Hmm.
with Reading Rainbow and bring back like late 90s or like late 80s, early 90s nostalgia Pizza Hut. That's all we
Hmm.
want. And it's a great time to do it because we have a deeply illiterate society that needs to be encouraged to read. There's a lot of parents who can't feed their children right now. And so what you're
Hmm.
doing is you're doing an act of goodwill that's
Hmm.
going to encourage people to read and is also going to give an outlet for these parents to be able to feed their children. Like that's a win-win, but you paid money for a rebrand because you just wanted
Hmm.
people to talk about you. So it's like I know I'm not smart for thinking that because I know other people are thinking like I know that like
Yeah.
every millennial was like I know exactly what we want and this wasn't it.
Yeah.
So it's not me being a genius or like a brilliant marketer. It's you just wanted attention. You want a little pop. And so I think that's what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of brands light themselves on fire
Yeah.
and then they just like sit there and be like, just it was okay. Like
Yeah.
we fought through the risk. And all they're really thinking is like, I got to be interviewed by Variety or
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter talked about like
Yeah.
child,
Yeah.
just say you wanted attention. But that's why I can't do anymore. The marketing stunts are exhausting.
Yeah. 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 I mean, you were giving a lot of like, name brand examples, but I also want to bring up, the ones happening in the tech world, right? Which I'm sure you've also
Yes.
heard of. There's
Yes.
Cluely, who, has
Oh,
risen to the top
I cannot.
by
Well, Friend and Cluely, I cannot.
Cluely. Yeah.
That's not
Um,
even stunt marketing. That is douchebag marketing. That is
mhm.
being the most hated jerk in school, but everyone's taught like, you
But
just hate
everyone's
me.
talking about it,
Everyone's
right?
talking about like
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
So the two examples there, just for a
Yeah.
little bit more context, you have Cluely that, kind of came off the back of like the founder and CEO, Roy Lee, who was booted from Colombia because he had come up with this software that will help you cheat on your interview to like big companies. And then he got into YC, he dropped out of YC, and then he got, 15 million from Andreessen Horowitz, and now has pivoted to the all cheating software. And has continued getting attention for that. And then Friend AI, we recently saw they plastered, I think it was the West Fourth subway station in New York City with like Friend billboard ads everywhere.
And
And
New
then
York did
recently,
what New York does
yeah,
best. I love some good vandalism. Good
yeah,
for you, New York,
exactly.
because you did what you should have done.
Yeah. And then they just announced, I think it was last week, that they spent $500,000 to have an out of home campaign with like billboards and bus routes here in LA. And I thought, like, I understood at least maybe they were trying to get a certain type of their ICP within New York City because they're, the station that they chose is the one that a lot of like young workers, get off of because that's where they work or that's where they live or party and all that. But the one in LA didn't make sense to me because like they're putting them on buses where, like, the people that ride the buses are probably not the people that are ever going to buy a friend AI. You could argue that maybe, oh, it's because they're going to be, next to the people that are driving in the cars that'll see them. But that just made a lot less sense for me. And that one just like really annoyed me because I'm like, you're still
That's on
getting
purpose.
very poor reviews for your actual product
They
from
don't
people that
care.
want to like your product on
They don't
Twitter,
care.
you know?
They don't
And
care.
I know that's the thing, like they don't care. And I think like for me, the gall of like not caring about like the actual product or service that you're building is very annoying to me because
Yeah.
like um what is it all for if you're just building, a
They're not
plastic
building the
thing?
product. But that's the thing
Yeah.
is they're
Yeah.
not building it for that. And I
Yeah.
think what they are doing too is what they've done is they've built a grift cycle. And the grift cycle is powerful enough that it captures enough attention that that has been equivocated into market share or
Mm.
to like value. And so I think if you think about just how turbulent things are, especially in like the VC and marketing world. We just had the crypto, like a massive crypto crash. There's a lot of things that are like being told, like you're being yelled at online about how strong something is or how you should invest in something. And then literally weeks later, it falls apart and you're like, I thought this was supposed to make you rich, but now you're
Mhm.
telling me that its value is literally ephemeral. And so what you have is they've gained the system. Like we
Mhm.
live in a world where Forbes 30 under 30 is a bigger indicator of future fraud than it is for
They're at
future
what, like
success.
5, 7 people that
They're
have been
collecting them, yes.
gone to
But I
prison?
feel like yeah, but I feel like that's a signal.
Yeah.
Like drink every time I say signal in this podcast.
Yeah.
But I think it's a signal of like the society that we've built around success is that I don't like what Chloe and friends are doing, but they are absolutely symptoms. Like they are the natural conclusion of what we have been praising for so
Mhm.
long,
Mhm.
where it's the hard work is the ICPs, is the customer marketing, is the journeys, is the product market fit, is the beta testing, is the trying to figure out market share, is the product improvement. And what we've done is we've glorified the founder journey that goes from 0 to 60. We've
Mhm.
glorified the college dropout. We have absolutely glorified the college dropout into them becoming a CEO. Like
Mhm.
Zuckerberg is probably a great example of like dropout to billionaire, lost his ethics if he ever had any along the way, but it's okay because he's a
Mhm.
billionaire and owns half
Right.
of Hawaii now. And
Mhm.
so like that's where we're at is we've glorified all the non-hard work that gets you attention, but doesn't mean that what you're doing is good. And so what you have is you have these guys who have leaned in heavily and been like, they don't want you to like their product.
Mhm. I think it comes and goes in cycles though, because I mean, honestly, California was built on the gold rush, which was
Yeah.
that premise, right?
Same.
Where it's like,
Same. It's the same thing. Yeah.
you just want to win the lottery, you want to
Yeah.
get your own, and then, go from there, right? And then
Yeah.
the 80s with the Wall Street guys, like that was the original thing. The '08 crash, like that was also built on that.
But that's where we're at is we're
Hmm.
cycling this. And so what these guys have done is they've basically put a mirror on society. And maybe I'm
Hmm.
giving them honestly too much credit, but they have seen what is glorified.
Hmm.
And so they are copying and pasting that playbook. And then putting up the most obnoxious ads, but then saying like, "Well, I had the money to spend it." And
Hmm.
as long as the VCs are funding the bad behavior,
Right.
then more people are gonna do the exact same bad behavior. So the VCs are just as culpable as these founders who are doing this. Because at the end of the day, like, if you're funding them for attention and earned media and not the product, then you're really kind of telling on yourself as to what you actually value, and it's
Hmm.
not the product or service.
Right. But then also, I mean, wouldn't that be like the vicious cycle, right? Where it's like you get funded for getting the attention. If you want to get funded again, you got to go get more attention,
Well,
right?
think about Theranos.
Right.
Speaking of another 30 under 30, like
Hmm.
tons of VC funding, tons of attention. She was basically on every magazine cover.
Hmm.
And then, but no one did their due diligence until it
Hmm.
was too late.
Well,
And
and
then,
then they're
yeah.
saying that she's about to announce some sort of like coin, right?
And
Like
she
from
will, and
prison.
just, but also like, but she'll be funded. Like,
Right.
there is nobody I believe will get funding quicker than someone who has crashed and burned publicly. So like Fire
We
Festival
had the
guy,
wheel work
he,
guy.
yeah, WeWork guy, like WeWork guy was immediately funded as soon as he tried to do something
Mhm.
else.
The
Fire
Bolt
Festival
guy.
tried to do Fire Festival
Mhm.
too. Bolt guy, like she's gonna get funded. Like
Yeah.
there's something very interesting about the you've already proven you're a fraud, but you've proven you can get attention.
Mhm. And
Here's
you've
a
proven
check.
you can get money from people.
Yes, here's a check. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that that says a lot about where we are, and I think part of it has led into this whole disaffectedness, right? And, like,
Yes.
the fact that, like, the feeling that you gotta get yours or someone's gonna get, get it from you, the dog
Yes.
eat world thing, like, totally, I mean, that's where we are, I think, everywhere, including politically.